proved that stealth had the capability to reintroduce surprise into aerial warfare.
We tend to be a very, very confident group. We know our risks. You just know what you have to do, and you're able to concentrate and do whatever it takes.
If we don't fly this airplane during the daytime, it's going to be flown at night. And you've got to get comfortable with the night, or else you're going to become a statistic.
Matt McKeon is a captain in the United States Air Force. He flies the F-117 Nighthawk, better known as the stealth fighter. Only 59 Nighthawks were made. They cost $42.6 million apiece, and they have changed the rules of air warfare. Since World War II, nations have relied on radar to ward off attacks from the sky. But now, the United States has a weapon that flies through radar without detection, then wreaks destruction. It is quiet, precise, and deadly, and so far, no one has a way to stop it. Stealth began with the SR-71 Blackbird, a spy plane built in the 60s by the Lockheed Corporation. Its only apparent defense was to fly higher and faster than the enemy. But the plane had a secret advantage. Its streamlined shape was stealthy. Although the Blackbird is a large plane, it looks small viewed head-on, the way radar sees it. The Blackbird was designed by the Skunk Works, a division of Lockheed specializing in secret projects. Engineers at the Skunk Works were excited by the Blackbird's low radar profile, but in the days of the slide rule, the thought of making a plane stealthy from top to bottom was laughable. The equations were just too big to calculate. By the 70s, however, computers had grown in speed and power. Now it was possible to solve the puzzle of stealth. In 1975, Lockheed built a computer program called Echo-1. Echo-1 predicts how objects reflect radar energy. It's the blueprint for stealth aircraft. This is how it works. Radar sends electromagnetic waves into the air. When these waves hit an object, such as an F-15, they bounce off in many directions. A strong return of energy warns a radar operator that something is coming. Like all conventional aircraft, the bulky F-15 gives a strong radar return. Electromagnetic waves explode off its bumps and curves. But Echo-1 revealed that a diamond-shaped aircraft would channel and deflect energy off to the sides. The plane would not be invisible to radar, but it would be very hard to see. Now Lockheed had to prove their theory in the real world, on a radar testing range.
We made a small model with flat sides, and we called it the Hopeless Diamond. And we put it on the range, and the manager came to me and he says, "Mr. Rich, you know, you dropped the model." I said, "I'll go on." And I said, "Well, let's go look." You know, the models were about half a mile downrange. And so we looked. No, the model was there. And all of a sudden, as he says, "Wait a minute, I'm seeing it." Because he had turned the gain down to his maximum gain. And all of a sudden, a bird landed on the model. and he saw the bird and didn't see the model.
At the time, Echo 1 could only calculate radar's effect on flat shapes, so Lockheed had to design a plane with no curved surfaces. By 1977, they had built the first pure stealth aircraft, the small, very stealthy Have Blue. The Pentagon was stunned.
The interesting thing about the Have Blue, when it demonstrated this very low radar cross-section, was it suddenly became an answer in search of a question. You know, we'd got this tremendously good capability, and the question then was, well, what's the best possible way to use it?
Pretty much the first priority was, could it be of a strategic capability? And so the question was, could this concept grow large enough to fill that particular mission area? And after doing model testing, both aerodynamic and RCS, it became evident to us that no, it could not be done. The risks became unacceptable once you grew beyond a certain size, and the size kind of was at about what you see today on the ramp in the F-17. Once you went beyond that, and there were certain areas in the airframe which are probably classified, but you just started to run into problems. Interestingly enough, the basic concept worked. It maintained signature, but there was an aerodynamic issue.
We suggested to the Air Force when we went to the F-117 that we should round off some of the edges to make it a better aerodynamic airplane, and they really didn't want to do that because it was felt that there was some black magic about how we got this low radar cross-section, and we just didn't want to mess with it.
In this hangar in Burbank, California, Lockheed built the first F-117. Workers were sworn to absolute secrecy. Stealth technology had entered the black world. The Pentagon declared it top secret. In the late 70s, Cold War tensions were running high. So before a single plane was finished, the Air Force had formed a squadron to fly it.
My first experience with what the aircraft looked like was actually at the Skunk Works. And the initial look at the aircraft was actually a wooden mock-up of the fuselage of the airplane. And if you look at the fuselage of the 117, you'll say it's not very aerodynamic looking with a high peak canopy and all that. And we looked at it and we said, we're not going to fly that thing. That thing it's impossible for that to fly. You know, so it was quite a shock to first see it. But then over time, as the aircraft went together and we began to see it on the production floor to begin to take shape, it took on a beauty of its own, you know, and then we realized that we had something special that we were dealing with.
By June 18, 1981, the first 117 was ready to fly. This was not a prototype. Lockheed didn't build one. Hal Farley was at the controls of a full-size test plane. The first day went well, but one major bug was uncovered.
I was fortunate enough to be the first chase on that airplane, and he took off. At the time he broke ground, I joined up on his wing, and we were watching an airplane that kind of oscillated. And it was enough that we kept the flight pretty short, put it on the ground. And the engineers went to work and said, yeah, we have a fin problem. You know, there just is not enough tail on this airplane to keep it stable.
The 117's tail fins were quickly enlarged, which got rid of the wobbling. Later, the Air Force made another change. They wanted the Nighthawk painted black.
We had a requirement that the airplane should have low visibility as well as low radar cross-section, and we designed it in shades of gray. The Air Force felt that as the airplane flew at night, it should be black, and that in fact is not the best color for flying at night, it turns out. But real men don't fly funny pastel airplanes.
Everything on the airplane had to be in concert with its mission, which was stealth and precision. A very, very difficult design challenge of its day was the design and development of the pitot probes. We have 4 independent airspeed systems which not only measure the airspeed of the aircraft, but they also measure through differential pressure the pitch angle and the yaw angle of the aircraft. And that's critical to the flight control system. And in fact, had we not been able to incorporate a fully automatic fly-by-wire flight control system, this aircraft wouldn't know to keep the pointy end into the wind.
The 117 is neither fast nor agile, but it doesn't have to be. If it stays stealthy, it stays safe. Even its twin engines are stealthy. Special grills cover their inlets. Air can come in, but radar can't. Engine exhaust is channeled through a thin ledge of bricks in back of the plane. The exhaust is cooled, then ducted up past the tail fins to confuse heat-seeking missiles. The 117 is coated with radar-absorbent material, but under its skin, you'll find aluminum, steel, and titanium. The Stealth is not made out of any exotic materials. In fact, many of its parts were cannibalized from other planes. The idea was to use proven systems so the 117 could be operational as soon as possible. But the planes took time to build. In the 80s, Lockheed delivered an average of just 6 Nighthawks a year. The planes were delivered here, to the Tonopah Test Range, a secluded base in the high Nevada desert. In 1982, Tonopah changed from a dusty airstrip to a high-security fortress. The crews sent here were selected for their skill and maturity. They had to be experienced. They were breaking in a strange new aircraft with a high price tag. It was a stressful assignment. Crews were separated from their families and worked 12-hour days. They could never discuss their mission. The 117 was America's secret weapon, and it was critical to keep it a secret as long as possible. Stealth pilots had to keep an even keel and a low profile.
Back when we were a secret program, we would go to work on Mondays and come home on Fridays. And the families were never allowed to know where we were going, what we were doing. All they knew was we flew A-7s. I think they thought we were going to Hawaii for the week, which would have been nice, but we were going to the middle of a desert.
Until 1989, pilots were forbidden to tell anyone without clearance what they did for a living, and few had clearance.
Living in the black world is a very difficult thing for all of us, because you don't like to tell your friends lies. You can't tell them yes and you can't tell them no, you know, and so sometimes you just have to swallow hard and use the cover story that we used all those years, you know, that we're doing avionics testing or electronic testing with the A7 and that sort of thing. And you have to do that. I mean, it's one of those things that to protect the value of the program, it's something that you must do. And we overcame that over time. We got used to having to do that, particularly with your family. I mean, you go home and your wife says, "What kind of day did you have today?" And you say, "Sorry, dear, I can't talk about that," you know.
When I first heard about the aircraft, I was actually stationed in Washington in the Pentagon at the time, and I was about to change jobs to go up and work a job at which this airplane was embedded in. And so when I got to the office and was settling in, I was getting some initial briefings, and some of my colleagues put a picture of this aircraft up and said, "Have you ever seen this before?" And my response was, "No." "Have you ever heard anything about a program called F-117s?" And I said, "No." So they said, "Well, it is true. It is an aircraft, and it had already been in business for some time." I said, "You got to be kidding me," you know. I didn't think we could keep anything in this country, such as a program of this size, a secret for that long.
After the Gulf War, the veil of secrecy that clung around the Nighthawk was finally lifted. Stealth operations were moved from Tonopah to Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. Stealth has entered the light, but its mystique remains intact.
Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth will continue on Discovery Sunday.
Where your business plan ends and your information strategy begins, the two should be one. IBM Services can help you pull them together. We have management consultants to help you decide what to do, systems consultants to show you how, technical experts to do the job for you, even an IBM organization who'll run your systems. There's never been so much help from one place before. There's never been a better time to do business with IBM.
Has this ever happened to you? What a mess! What about this for a carpet design? Trails, tracks, spills, stains. This carpet has had it. But wait, introducing No Wet Wonder Foam, the miracle carpet cleaner from the makers of DD7. Here's a real test. Sump oil, shoe polish, soot, crayon, and stove black. Now here's a mess you'll never have. Wonder Foam is super concentrated, only a capful to 10 ounces of water. Now, with your special foam applicator, dip and squeeze. The foam is all you need. Can you believe your eyes? Wonder Foam works gently, without wetting, and ingests every granule of soil, leaving your carpets looking like new. No Wet Wonder Foam is a scientific breakthrough that lets you clean any carpet quickly, totally, and without wetting. This specially designed applicator is lightweight, but up to the toughest job, and Wonder Foam will perform its magic on upholstery you thought would never come clean. No Wet Wonder Foam can be yours on this special TV offer for $14.95, or save $10 and order 2 for $5 more. That's 2 for $19.95, and we'll include the applicator at no additional charge. If Wonder Foam doesn't work this easily and effectively for you, we will gladly refund your money.
For rush delivery, call toll-free 1-800-438-9393, U.S. or Canada, or send $14.95 for 1 bottle or $19.95 for 2 bottles, plus $5.95 shipping to No Wet Wonder Foam, P.O. Box 667, Department Number 130, Georgetown, Connecticut.
Sound off! Firepower! Sound off! G.I. Diary! See him on Thursday, new day, same time, new day.
See Firepower and G.I. Diary on their new night, Thursdays, only on the Discovery Channel.
Surprise, we're here!
Hey, I thought we were going to the mall.
We are, the Miller Oshkosh Auto Mall.
With the largest indoor showroom around and up to 30 new vehicles inside to choose from all the time. Miller Oshkosh Auto Mall, your Chrysler, Plymouth, Lincoln, Mercury headquarters where quality used cars are a plus. Our climate-controlled indoor auto mall keeps your buying experience dry and comfortable in all types of weather. Make your selection today at the Miller Oshkosh Auto Mall, Highway 41 and 21 in Oshkosh.
I know they're your neighbors, but they probably can't stop themselves. They've just never seen or heard or felt movie theater excitement like this when they've watched TV. Listen, either be prepared to invite them in every day, or simply tell them to go to Sound World and find out how they can have their own system. Sound World has all the answers in home entertainment, but until you tell them, they probably can't stop themselves. Sound World, because it's a whole new era in home entertainment.
Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth now continues on Discovery Sunday.
Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico. As of July 1992, the home of the F-117 Nighthawk. Unlike Tonopah Test Range, Holloman is a fairly typical base. Security is tight here, but now it's possible for a camera crew to follow the men and women who lurk in the shadows of the stealth.
These jets do have their own characteristics and have their own personalities. Each one flies differently, each one's built differently. There isn't one jet that's alike out here. They all basically look alike from a distance, but when you get up close to them, look at the structural and everything else, it's different. And the pilots, they have a fit sometimes. They say, well, one jet does this, why doesn't this jet do this? They say, well, sir, this is not that jet, it's different.
Don't skip the hangar!
These airmen are searching for rocks, coins, wires, anything that could be sucked into a delicate jet engine. The base is filled with a kind of relaxed urgency. Now that 117s aren't top secret, they fly around the clock.
Tower 8, Star 4.
4 Tower.
2 miles south, Cajun 2 is coming back to you. The bump will be a problem.
Roger. Who was that? Cajun 2.
Elias Torres is training as an air traffic controller. A plane with a gear problem is coming in. The pressure is on.
Brief one I need for you to re-enter and join up with Cajun 2 is on an 8-mile base to runway 16 for possible emergency.
What we're going to plan to do is we're going to put him straight ahead on the runway. Let's just go with temporary 2-5 ops. Okay. We'll just keep everybody going. We'll pin him and get him off.
To controllers, an F-117 is like any other plane. It goes up, it comes down, it taxis away. The controller's job is to make sure these things happen smoothly.
Got your form pack and your Form 70, sir?
No, I need a film pack and I need an EDTM, please. And BTR. Yes, BTR and an EDTM. Thank you.
This is the 415th Squadron Flight Operations Desk. Stealth pilot Andy Papp is signing for the airplane he'll fly this evening.
Nice flight, sir.
Okay. If the weather's bad, I'll call back to you guys and let you know. I don't think it's going to be bad. Weather's bad.
From flight ops, pilots head into life support to collect their gear. Combat missions are stressful. Pilots are encouraged to find outlets for tension.
All of us are fighter pilots, and so most of us are pretty good at pulling G's. And one way to help you do that is to build up your leg muscles so you can prevent yourself from G-locking. What that does, blood pools down in your lower extremities, and instead of being up in your brain where it needs to be, it's down around your backside and your legs. So by pumping up your legs, you can squeeze them and keep the blood up there a little bit. That'll give you the advantage on the enemy. So, when he's graying out at about 7 or 8 or 9 Gs, you're just getting warmed up and ready to kill him. And that's what it's all about. And so it's kind of hard to get time in here with these guys, but we do. You got to get about it. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. This is a squat, and this helps build up the entire leg, the leg group, those muscles down there. Most of us old guys have a hard time with knees. But we do all right. What'd you fly? F-111s. It was a pretty good time. It's an older airplane, but it's one you had to fly. Stick and rudder kind of airplane. But this one's you're more of an artist, You really are. It's pretty cool. You go in there, you pick out your target, then you just watch the bomb ride, and hopefully you hit where you're supposed to hit. If there's any jet you'd want to fly into a combat situation, this would be it. There's no doubt in my mind. The seat's uncomfortable, but all I can say, it really is. You sure you want to get a set in here?
Okay, here's the route. Taking a look at Form 70 and photo packs.
Before every flight, pilots attend a mass briefing that tells them what the night holds in store. Their missions require a great deal of planning, much more than other military aircraft.
2 comments, actually. When you're heading up there, obviously, if flight leads, keep an eye out on the weather. If it necessitates, we'll skip on from point 8 over to the Taos target at point 12. Okay.
This, of course, is an exercise.
Following Santa Fe, you get into Albuquerque, staying at 180, and you're taking the pretty large building on a row of buildings, and a good ID point there is the building that's on an angle there at the end of the block. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Then on into Red Rio, you have 2 offsets. You're running down the runway, basically. What I want you to do is target the 3rd aircraft in the revettes. Okay, the picture shows a lot more airplanes than are out there. There's about 8 airplanes out there. So take the 3rd as your dimpy. Questions on the photos? Okay, slide.
Major Andy Papp and his squadron commander, Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Creedler, are leaving for a night mission. Papp carries a data transfer module in his flight pack. It will be loaded into the 117's onboard computers. The module contains maps, flight plans, and other information that allows the plane to virtually fly itself into the battle area.
How you doing? We got a flare screen, huh?
We're really looking for the cream of the crop, and that's exactly what we did. We went to the personnel system, and we said, please give us the best that you have. And they said, you're going to destroy our personnel system. I mean, we've got to allocate these guys around, you know, and we've got to watch their careers and all that. But we said this is very important. We couldn't tell them why we wanted them. And then word came down from on high that they needed to give us what we asked for, and they did.
Hello, sir. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm hanging. It flew code 1, first go.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a trash screen last night?
No, sir, that screen's trash like from last week, but it's not as trash as the rest of them were.
What, just a couple
strands all over this. Hopefully, we keep it that way.
Yeah, really. At least they sent it to my jet.
Aha! I'm your crew chief.
All right?
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you.
You too, sir. They call me Chef, and I'm the only chef here, so.
Okay, they call me Smear.
Okay, we're in it.
We tend to be a very, very confident group. We know our risks.
Okay.
We tend to know our capabilities pretty well, and you just know what you have to do, and you're able to concentrate and block everything out except what you have to do, concentrate on your mission, and do whatever it takes. I don't know if you call it a coolness, I don't know if you call it a discipline, I really don't know what the word is, but it's almost an aloofness where you just remove yourself from your environment, just strictly concentrate on what you're doing. I don't think it's peculiar to the stealth. I think it's pretty widespread to almost any area. A race car driver, I think, can do the same thing. He's very aware of his environment. He's got very good situational awareness. And the same thing's true in a fighter. I think it's true of all fighters. If you're going to be a good fighter pilot, you can be a good stealth pilot or a good F-15 pilot or a good A-10 pilot or a good F-16 pilot. You tie all the same factors together. We just happen to do it at night in a black jet.
I'll go ahead and hit both the power in the air. You go ahead and raise up the traps, okay?
When the guys come into the program, initially, of course, we give them heavy academics, heavy simulator training, and then I basically talk to them. And I stress one point, saying this is not any different an airplane than any fighter airplane that you've ever flown. The only thing that you've got to remember is we don't fly this airplane during the daytime. It's going to be flown at night. And you've got to get comfortable with the night. You've got to trust your instruments. And of course, up there on the range, there's not many city lights around. So when you take off, it's taking off like into the black hole. And you've got to trust your instrument and trust the airplane. And by God, you know, you have to do that, or else you're going to become a statistic.
The Nighthawk that flies today is not the aircraft that flew in the Gulf War. The new version is called the OSIP, for Offensive Combat Improvement Program. Existing 117s were refitted with new cockpits, incorporating full-color displays and an automatic flight recovery system. A touch of a button will bring a tumbling aircraft back to straight and level flight. This was a response to 2 fatal crashes in the mid-'80s. Both accidents happened when pilots lost their bearings at night.
Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth will continue on Discovery Sunday.
This portion of Discovery is sponsored in part by IBM.
Today, to grow your business beyond the expected, you go beyond your borders. But running networks between countries, writing software in many languages, and financing your projects worldwide can be tricky. IBM is at home in over 140 countries. We can steer you away from trouble and toward opportunity. just as we have for hundreds of other companies. If you're seeking your fortune in the world, there's never been a better time to do business with IBM.
It's true. The wonders of Alaska amaze and inspire. And the luxury found on board Alaska's only 5-star fleet is incomparable. But what really causes one's pulse to quicken is something else entirely. Come, discover Alaska and savings of up to $1,200 with Holland America West Tours.
The 93 Jaguar XJ6 at $549 a month. It's a dream come true.
Why is Embassy Suites twice the hotel? First, you get a suite with 2 big rooms. Evening beverages are on the house, not on the bill. And our cook-to-order breakfast is free of charge. Obviously, this isn't your typical hotel. It's twice the room, twice the comfort, and twice the value. And it's only at Embassy Suites. Twice the hotel. Call 1-800-EMBASSY.
Yep, it's a dull, boring morning. 65 degrees. No wind. No clouds. Dull.
Sunday, I heard it through the grapevine. Raised in the California sunshine. Oh, you know I heard it through the, yeah, you know I heard it 'cause I heard it through the grapevine, yeah. I heard.
Whoa, what do you have for breakfast?
Below the surface, under the cresting waves, history lies buried among the sands. Precious Spanish treasure, warships that never reached port, and cities surrendered to the sea. Now, dive to adventure with scientists and treasure hunters alike as they explore the hidden depths of a forgotten world on Discoveries Underwater, Wednesday at 8 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
The Discovery Channel invites you to go behind the scenes of a real criminal investigation. Piece together the clues to catch a serial killer and discover the high-tech crime-fighting equipment of the future. Strap on a badge, step into the line of fire, and go in pursuit of justice. Continuing all week at 10 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth now continues on Discovery Sunday.
Today, in the wake of the Gulf War, the F-117 is considered one of the most formidable weapons in the U.S. arsenal. But for nearly 10 years, the stealth fighter was an unknown quantity. Few knew the aircraft existed, and those who did wondered if it would work as advertised. The shroud of secrecy cast over the 117 was so great that even Air Force planners seemed unsure of the plane's capabilities. On December 19, 1989, 117s were used for the first time in combat as part of a U.S. strike on Panama, what the Bush administration called Operation Just Cause. 6 aircraft were sent in to hit 2 separate targets, but one mission was canceled, and eventually just 2 planes were sent in to strike a target that was changed at the last moment. details of the mission are still secret, but the result was that the 117s dropped laser-guided bombs into a field next to a Panamanian Army barracks. Major Greg Feast was the mission flight lead.
I think that the press and everyone couldn't believe that 117s were sent, since they can drop precise munitions, why they were dropped on fields. And they figured we were supposed to hit the buildings. When told that we weren't supposed to hit the buildings, we were supposed to drop 50 meters short of the barracks. It is very difficult to train to drop in the middle of a field. To put a triangle over a field on a picture and say, hit that bush, is very difficult.
Bad communications between the Air Force and the Army resulted in accusations of incompetence. Some used Panama as evidence that the F-117 program was a $6 billion failure.
What we learned from Just Cause was that we needed to be careful in the way that we explained to higher headquarters what our capability was, to make sure that they had reasonable expectations about what we could do and what we were really good at, what we really did well, and what we eventually got a chance to demonstrate in Desert Storm was to find very small pinpoint targets in urban areas and take them out with great precision.
In August 1990, Operation Desert Storm began. 24 stealth fighters were sent to King Khalid Air Base in southwestern Saudi Arabia.
I think a lot of senior officers saw the utility of the F-117, but when it came to actually using it in combat, I had some doubts. Now, I believed all the test data. The test data said that it would be able to go in there and get the job done and not get shot down. But on the other hand, when you're actually ordering 50 sorties a night or so into the most heavily defended target in the world, you can't help but wonder if it can make it.
Panama had raised doubts, but the F-117 pilots were determined that this war would be fought their way, with planning and precision.
I picked my pilots for Just Cause, and Major Greg Feast was my #1 choice because he was my best shooter. In the aftermath, he had to sit there and read all that press about how he couldn't hit anything with a $46.2 million airplane. You know, he erred here, he made this mistake, he made that mistake. And throughout all that period where you know he was taking all that press and rolling around in his mind, he was still my #1 shooter. And on the 15th of January, when I made my final cut on who was going to be the first 117 guy to drop a bomb, there was no doubt in my military mind that it was going to be Major Greg Feast, because he was, and he still is, the best.
The code words for the start of the air campaign, I think, was execute Wolfpack. H hour was 0100Z, which is 3 o'clock in the morning Baghdad time. And we had a saying at that time that the quickest way home was through Baghdad, and we knew that once we started it, that it'd be over fairly shortly, we hoped.
At 11 p.m. on January 16th, the first wave of stealth fighters left for Iraq. The Allied command staff had pinned their hopes on the 117. They sent the plane to destroy Iraq's heavily fortified air defense system. If stealth worked, it would open up the sky for thousands of Allied planes. If it failed, this would be a long, brutal war. At 2:51 a.m., Greg Feast dropped the first bomb of Operation Desert Storm. Appropriately, his target was a radar operations center.
I had 2 targets. I dropped in the first one without being shot at, and I had a wingman a minute behind me. And I thought I'd look back and watch his bomb hit. And when I looked back, I saw tracers. I wasn't sure what they were. I had never seen them before. And at first I thought it was some kind of, I had hit something that was shooting off fireworks or something, and then I figured out they were shooting at me. So I looked out in front of me and thought, boy, I'm glad I don't have to fly into that. However, then I looked out about 100 miles in front of me at my second target, and that again looked like the fireworks at Disneyland.
I don't know if you're familiar with the big sky theory, which says, you know, the sky is huge, and therefore there must be enough room for me and whatever other airplane or whatever the threat is. And so the big sky theory will protect me. As I look back on what Baghdad looked like, especially early on, we had this feeling that maybe the big sky theory was wrong, because Baghdad was a city of 3 million people, and they had it lit up from one end to another.
You were always uncomfortable with people shooting at you. Trust me, you're always uncomfortable with people shooting at you. You didn't seem invincible anymore. You became maybe less nervous, less fearful. But then again, something would happen and it would scare the pants off you, and your eyes would get real wide again, and you'd get your caution back. No, nobody, I don't think, ever lost the caution, lost the edge, lost the concern, because all it takes is one shot, you know, one golden BB. And that could come from anywhere. So I don't think guys got complacent. Guys got tired, but not complacent.
The toughest were, I think, the first 6 days, because we didn't have enough pilots at the time, and we were busy. We were mission planning. The missions were changed. We were flying. We were supervising. We were in this, what we call the goat rope, going around, and until the other airplanes and the rest of the pilots, and we got an additional 12 pilots around the 24th of January. It got a little bit easier. We could take a breather, but it wasn't much of a breather, because we actually stepped up how many missions we would fly a night. And you know, there were a couple times where we flew 64 missions a night.
In the 43 days of the Gulf War, stealth pilots flew 1,300 missions, dropping more than 2,000 tons of bombs. And despite the intensity of Iraq's defenses, not a single Nighthawk was shot down.
My contract with my pilots was that we'd train them, and it was kind of my report card. Either they all came home and I passed, or I lost one guy and I failed. All I could think of at the time was that, well, if I made it through, how was I going to talk to these guys' wives, and what was I going to tell their wives when they didn't make it? I was responsible for their safety. I felt personally responsible for their safety. They're all tremendously talented pilots, tremendously disciplined. The guys had, maintenance guys had gotten the jets ready, the weapons loaders had gotten all that squared away, and we needed it all to come together. And it did, and the Iraqis just plain missed.
Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth will continue on Discovery Sunday.
It was the best-kept military secret since the atomic bomb. And now, it's available to you. The Wings Aviation Collection presents Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth. Call this number, and you'll get an exclusive insider briefing on the technology behind America's incredible secret weapon, the F-117 stealth fighter, from concept to combat. Witness actual gun camera footage of the stealth strikes that started the Gulf War. Meet the designers and take an unprecedented in-depth look at the plane radar cannot see. Get the complete pilot's point of view with top secret footage, unseen and unknown until now. Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth. To order for only $24.95. Call 1-800-258-4700 with your credit card ready. And stand by for further instruction. Roger.
This portion of Discovery is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Comfort in a four-wheel drive. Amazing.
I got a big crew and I need a lot of space.
It makes me feel tall.
It's tough but refined, kind of like me.
It's got it all.
Why do more people find themselves in a Ford Explorer than any other vehicle in its class? For as many reasons as there are Explorers.
Finders keepers.
Find yourself in an Explorer.
Today, there should not be a place where your business plan ends and your information strategy begins. The two should be one. IBM Services can help you pull them together. We have management consultants to help you decide what to do, systems consultants to show you how, technical experts to do the job for you, even an IBM organization who'll run your systems. There's never been so much help from one place before. There's never been a better time to do business with IBM.
Wouldn't you like to slide into a new body? Hi, I'm Kim Alexis. With my career, I'm always looking for a better way to work out. Now I've found the Slim Slide. It's fun, and I get great results in 20 minutes. It's the newest craze in aerobics because you burn fat fast, up to 400 calories in just 20 minutes.
Your whole body's involved, so there's no better cardiovascular workout.
The Slim Slide reshapes your lower body. It firms your inner and outer thighs and tightens your buttocks, and even slims your hips. The Slim Slide includes shoe covers in my workout video, and it stores so easily. Finally, an aerobic workout that's fun and helps you lose weight. Call toll-free now and order my workout video and the Slim Slide.
To order Kim Alexis Slim Slide, including shoe covers and workout video, call 1-800-426-8600. We'll bill your credit card 3 easy payments of $19.95 each. You get a full 60-day home trial. Call 1-800-426-8600 now.
The Discovery Channel invites you to go behind the scenes of a real criminal investigation. Piece together the clues to catch a serial killer and discover the high-tech crime-fighting equipment of the future. Strap on a badge, step into the line of fire, and go in pursuit of justice. Beginning tonight at 10 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Tired of having your business meetings in an overcrowded boardroom? Call Michael's Banquet and Seminar Facility in downtown Appleton. Our spacious meeting rooms with the view of the historic Fox River can accommodate groups of 250 or only 20. Michael's in downtown Appleton is the perfect place for all your business meetings, day-long seminars, or the wedding of the year.
Hi, I'm Deborah Michaels. Call me today to book your next banquet or seminar. I'll take care of every detail.
Surprise, we're here!
Hey, I thought we were going to the mall.
We are, the Miller Oshkosh Auto Mall.
With the largest indoor showroom around and up to 30 new vehicles inside to choose from all the time. Miller Oshkosh Auto Mall, your Chrysler, Plymouth, Lincoln, Mercury headquarters where quality used cars are a plus. Our climate-controlled indoor auto mall keeps your buying experience dry and comfortable in all types of weather. Make your selection today at the Miller Oshkosh Auto Mall, Highway 41 and 21 in Oshkosh.
Nighthawk, Secrets of the Stealth now continues on Discovery Sunday.
We reserved Baghdad exclusively for the 117s and the Tomahawk missiles. We did that for several reasons. First of all, primarily, is because of the intensity of the defenses around Baghdad. We could have used other airplanes in there, but we would have incurred losses, and we'd also had to do a great deal of defense suppression. And if you saw on television, they had guns and SAM sites throughout the city on top of hospitals and government buildings, and all sorts of defenses that we would have to take down. So that meant we would have had widespread damage throughout the city. We'd incurred a lot of civilian casualties and a lot of things that we just morally are not right, and there was no reason to do them because we had the advantage of the F-117.
Stealth fighters destroyed nuclear weapons plants, command bunkers, Scud missile sites, chemical warfare plants, ammunition dumps, and anything else considered too difficult for normal planes to hit. In this strike, 117s were sent to destroy a squadron of cargo planes reportedly loaded with chemical weapons. The planes were gassed up and waiting on a Baghdad runway. They were also sent against bridges. Eventually, every link to the city of Baghdad was destroyed.
I would say the intelligence has to be really good for us because we only carry 2 bombs, and somebody, I think it was General Glosson, said we were kind of like a little ball-peen hammer. You know, we'd go over and we would hit something right on the head, whereas like a B-52 was kind of like taking a broom out there and sweeping out everything. And so even though you're dropping a 2,000-pound bomb, if you hit the wrong building in a complex because the intel has told you that this was the building to hit when it should have hit the other building, you know, it was a miss. And that just meant that somebody else had to go back there and do the job.
The stealth fighter's average of direct hits was better than 75%, considered a breakthrough in precision bombing. But that leaves a sizable number of bombs that landed in the wrong place. It's undeniable that the 117 is vastly more accurate than the so-called precision bombers of the past. But smart bombs will never be smart enough to tell the difference between soldiers and civilians. In one incident, a stealth fighter struck a bunker filled with non-combatants.
We didn't hit any targets that we weren't told to hit by the General Glosson, General Horner, and the staff up at Riyadh. And that target came down as a military communications center bunker. I'm not sure the exact reason why the civilians were in there. I heard speculation that they had the people go use this place as a bomb shelter because it was hardened. And if that's the case, you know, bad luck every now and then, you know.
I was in Britain during World War II, and it was very frightening to go from conventional air raids to having the V-2 rocket come pouring in, and the first you know about it is that the house across the street gets blown up. You know, you don't have any sound, the being supersonic, the sound comes after the rocket. And that was very scary. That put a very different view on the civilian population. And this is very similar because the F-117 goes in virtually undetected, and the first thing anybody knows is something blows up.
The psychological effect of the F-117 is interesting. It's, first of all, you couldn't have gotten a better, more sort of hideous airplane out of central casting that looks like Darth Vader's helmet to strike terror into people's hearts. And you sort of wonder whether it could be something that was used as aircraft carriers have been also, a sort of stationed aircraft carrier off, you know, just sort of as a show of U.S. resolve. Well, in this case would be fly the F-117s anywhere, wherever the F-117 goes. That's an indication of what the U.S.'s political will is. And a lot of this probably depends upon the, you know, this still maintained invulnerability of the airplane. So, you know, if their F-117s start being regularly shot down, they would lose a lot of this aura that they have.
Obviously, for every measure, there's a countermeasure. The 117 is preeminent today, but tomorrow there'll be some way to counter it, and I'm sure people are working hard at that. However, that negates one of the most important things, is that the 117 will always be able to negate the existing air defense systems. And if you think about the world we face in the future, we're going to face a lot of existing defense capabilities in future theater conflicts. So obviously the 117 is solid with regard to what it has to do today.
It's morning at Holloman Air Force Base. Weapons specialists are mounting laser-guided bombs on the F-117. This is just a drill, but at a moment's notice, these practice bombs can become real bombs. And the F-117 can take them anywhere in the world.
Do serial killers have a common deadly desire? Is there a psychological profile of a serial killer? Specialists from the FBI attempt to find out by studying case histories of chain murders. Next, on Pursuit of Justice.
The Discovery Channel.